Alright guys, welcome back. Game number 4 of the night. We're hopping on into it right about now. I'm AlphaZax, joined here by Lunette the Herald once again. And Lunette, who do we have this game?
It looks like we're going to have Tempest on the part of the blue team going up against Reality Check Gaming over on the red team.
There we go. Tempest and Reality Check. First ban's coming out here very, very quickly here. Jayce and Kayle already getting banned out. Zed and Orianna being fired back here from Reality Check.
Yeah, Ryze finally being taken off the board, and the last ban coming out for the day is going to be Nunu. Nunu, a consistent ban so far in this tournament. I'm going to go ahead and just go on a tangent about the fact that it's probably because he's one of the stronger junglers in the game right now. He's got that real counter jungle potential, on top of the fact that, you know, those cheesy 15-minute Baron strats are like the most annoying thing on earth.
Yeah, exactly. It's not so much that he's like the strongest jungler, it's just he's arguably the most annoying. Right, the counter jungle potential he has. Plus, if he like starts boots and just like takes blood boil relatively early on, he's just so fast you can't really catch him, so you can't fight him. You can't out farm him because he just like eats the big monster out of each camp. And then there's the 15-minute Baron strats. If he gets out ahead, he can blood boil his carry, so his late game is still relevant. He's got really good zone control. His ganks are pretty strong, especially if you're out of position. So, I mean, he is a very, very strong jungler, but he's just absolutely obnoxious to play against. And we're seeing, team after team is just saying, I want nothing to do with that guy.
Yeah, just how about a big pile of no, which is completely understandable at this point in the game. And then, of course, no real surprises. Thresh picked or banned nearly every match that we've seen in MCS or LCS or any other high-level tournaments, so there's absolutely no surprises coming out so far, except for the fact that we do have a Nocturne pick coming out for Reality Check Gaming. Now, that is something interesting to note, simply because we might see a situation where we talked a little bit last game about the TF Nocturne combination, so I'm curious to see if we're going to see something like that, and then see Elise either go to the top lane, or we're going to see a support Elise. I don't think we're going to see that last one, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, it's interesting, but they did show one of their solo laners very, very early on by picking up an Elise and a Nocturne, and like you said, support Elise has kind of fallen out of favor. It's not something we see all that often anymore, and so because of that, the immediate response was, "It's Elise top. Okay, I got this. I'll take Shen. I'll get some early magic resistance. I'll a couple extra early points in feint maybe, and she's just gonna herself trying to spam out Q on me. As long as I'm not too low health to start with, where she can just go into spider form and get a lot of work done there. So Shen is one of those champions who probably can't smash Elise in lane because there's not very many lanes that Shen actually can smash. But it's gonna be very, very tough for Tofu Shift to really get a lot of good work done there. And that was a very, very last second lock in there on the Zac. I'm not sure if that was actually a lock-in or if they ended up randoming it, and there's the immediate drop.
Oh, no.
So they're not going to end up treating that like a proxy pick. So we're going to take just a second here to communicate with the teams and see what it was that they actually wanted. Zac is Vayne. His client froze up. Zac is Vayne. People are asking if we can finish picks here. Prefer in the lobby if we can. Great.
Yeah, I was going to say, Zac was going to be such an interesting pick. I was really excited to see it. I'm like, ooh, Zac Thresh combo. This is going to be really fun to see in the game. But then my hopes were dashed because that obviously didn't happen.
Yeah, that got taken away very, very quickly here. There's Anxiety coming back in. And, yep, we're going to go ahead and hop back in. Hopefully to pick some bands here in just a moment. We're going back. Nope, apparently somebody else had a little bit of an issue. We're just going to hop back out here.
No. You get nothing, Malphus. The streamers get nothing. The viewers get nothing. Just now. It's going to be there's no more. There's no more.
I'm just PvP issues abounding. There was a patch today that went live, and even if it was just bringing in Spirit Guard Udyr, I was having issues a little bit earlier. The stream actually started a little bit late because it would not let me authenticate. It was very, very rude. But anyway, hopefully we'll be able to get back in here in just a moment. It will be the same bans and the same opening picks, the exception being that Zac was actually Vayne. It's just a little bit of a client error there. And hopefully everybody's back in here. I don't know if they ordered up again, but I'm not particularly concerned about that. Look at fun. Go. And
they did. That's exactly what they were dropping in and out for. So it looks like everybody's ready to go. We're going to be getting back into this here momentarily and getting into the 4th out of the 5 matches we have tonight.
Whew. All right, there we go. Now we're back in. Everything's fine. Everything's wonderful. No one has to worry about anything. We're not going to see any sort of issues whatsoever. And, yeah. Band's coming back out. And there's, yeah. All right, so there's the Thresh. And there's the Elise. And here comes our Nocturne. And then there's our Zac and our Vayne and our Shen. I got my crystal ball. What now, Jat? I'm coming for you, bro. But yeah, it's marginally less impressive when you've actually seen them all pick it before. But anyhow, there we go. And now we're coming back over. We're going to see a couple of fresh picks here out of Reality Chat Gaming.
Yay, something new this time. No, but we've got a bot lane combination coming out from Thresh and Vayne. Now, this is interesting simply because in this tournament, I hate to say it, but there are a lot of times in tournaments like this or in the meta as a whole where you just get stuck in a rut of always playing that single combination. And that rut for MCS has been Vayne and Nami. And it gets old after a while. I'm happy to see the Vayne and Thresh, even though I really, really wish I'd see another support aside from Thresh out there these days and aside from Nami. But that bot lane is going to be going up against what looks to be the potential Zyra Tristana. Not sure if that's going to be a support Zyra or a mid lane Zyra, but either way, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it could very well be the Zyra bot lane. Could be Zyra mid as well. Both potentially very, very strong picks. It could even be that they're waiting to see what the matchup is, and if it's something that they like, that they might send the Zyra mid, and if it's not something that they like, they'll send Zyra down support in bottom lane. But either way, going to wait for the last pick. We see Udyr is going to make another return. We saw Sicko Scott was, he was definitely strong. He was definitely a point of contention. But the Vayne just got too far out ahead for us to really kind of gauge Udyr's power level. That's always one of the interesting things whenever you take one of those champions that doesn't get picked up very often and you put him into a game. It's always kind of interesting, especially at this level or any higher, like Challenger League or in the LCS. You kind of get a chance to gauge the power level. So you see Gambit has been running a little bit of Udyr lately, and it's been looking pretty strong. We'll see if we'll see this time around if Tempest can get a similar result out of this game.
Exactly. Now, whereas the last game we saw a lot of damage coming out to kind of go along with Vayne, this time we're seeing a bit more peel going on. We've got the Shen ultimate, you've got the box coming out from Thresh, as well as the hook and the knockback he has going on for him. The stuns coming out from Udyr, and of course the charms and damage coming out from Ahri. So this is more along the lines of a protect the Vayne comp than what we were seeing the last game. And is that a Zilean?
That's a Zilean. And they're swapping it around too. They're not proxying it. There's the active game was not found from the first drop, but no, that's it. Zilean's locked in. This is they're going for the hyper carry Tristana composition, right? They're going to use the support Zyra to create zones of space where people can't dive in onto Tristana. Atlanta is a prolific Tristana player. Just loves Tristana. Has been playing her for ever. But so Zyra's got the roots. She's got the ultimate she can put down. This is my Udyr go away mechanic. And if Udyr does get a little bit too close, there's still the Buster Shot from Atlanta and the rocket jump to reposition. And then either if Nocturne dives too deep and they want to have him being able to continue to force Vayne out, they can throw the Zilean ultimate on Nocturne, which will do one of two things. People will either say, okay, let's not kill Nocturne and wait until the ultimate times out and then kill him, or they'll say, let's go ahead and burst him down now, and then when he comes back up, he'll have low enough HP that Vayne can handle him again. But either way, it's definitely an interesting pickup. Zilean is not a champion that we've seen all that much of late. TSM brought him out, I think last week in the LCS when they used that strange Xinjiao AD carry out of the bottom lane. But other than that, we haven't really seen a whole lot of Zilean lately. So a little bit of a surprise pick coming out here from Reality Check Gaming.
More so of a surprise because I just went ahead and took a look at Zilean's runes and masteries. He is going all out offensive right now, so that's going to be really interesting to see. Those bombs are going to hurt even at an early level. And I don't know, this is like so strange to me to see Zilean picked up as a whole. I'm more curious to see how these lane matchups are going to go with Zilean in the mix.
Zilean mid against Ahri, I'm not really sure because, if he gets too close to her without creep standing in front of him, she can charm him and just throw insane amounts of damage down with the Foxfire and then throw out the Orb Deception as well and trade back basically all the damage. Not only that, but her passive is going to be giving her a decent amount of HP back throughout the lane, which is going to be like Zilean's basically play style in lane is run up, bomb people, run back. Run up, bomb people, run back. And if, I talked a little bit earlier about how Shen might look to just kind of out-sustain Elise's mana pool. We might be seeing Ahri doing something pretty much exactly the same against a Zilean.
More so than that, Zilean is just so squishy. I can see the damage trades just going completely out of his favor if he ends up going up against Baby Zeus. I don't think we're going to see a lane swap going on here where they want to send Zilean top against Shen, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea just because it would turn into a complete farm fest at that point, but I just don't see anything going well for Zilean as a whole just because of how squishy he is.
Yeah, either way, this is definitely going to be a game to watch. One other thing we should point out just before we go into ads, Zilean can also make Nocturne's dive so much more effective by giving him that haste. He can get so much move speed off of Zilean's E. It's really, really, really strong. So that's going to be one more thing that we have to watch out for, as Nocturne's going to get a bomb put on his head and sent to dive the back line with a bunch of extra move speed, and maybe, if the situation's just right, a Zilean ult as well to try to zone people back out. We'll have to see how this game goes down on the other side of these ads. Don't go away, guys. Right after this, we're going to have Tempest going up against Reality Check Gaming. All right, guys, and here we are in the loading screen. Game number 4 of the night. It's going to be Tempest up against Reality Check, and Skin War. Going to be a tough call here. I got the Firefighter Tristana, but then there's the Turn of Nocturne, but then again, Spirit Guard Udyr once again, making his second appearance of the night. Lunette, who do you give it to?
Oh, that is going to be a tough one. I gotta give it over to the blue team right now. They got that Midnight Ahri and of course Heartseeker Vayne, and those are, you gotta admit, those are two pretty amazing skins right there. So Tempest is going to be taking home the skin war.
We'll see if that skin war is going to give them the advantage in the actual game. People buying their starting items, going to head back out here. Shen taking a pretty healthy amount of sustain, got the ward, the rejuve beat, and lots of potions. So I think it's going to be that out-sustaining the mana pool. Once again, Udyr this time going to be starting off with a machete. We'll see how that affects his clear times compared to the Doran's Blade we saw in the last Udyr, he cleared relatively quickly and had a pretty decent amount of health to come back out for his ganks as well. So we'll see if this ends up leading to any sort of substantial difference in the jungle path.
Yeah, it looks like we've got some really aggressive plays going on the part of Tempest. I'm not exactly sure what they're going for right now. We could potentially see the blue buff invade. Tristana is there to defend, and we do have the pings going down. So it seems like that's the most likely possibility right now.
Yeah, see, they're going down for what's probably the delayed invade. Coming back out, Division in the front, does have the death sentence up. Atlanta going to spot them, just turn tail, run the other way, but they're not going to be able to prevent them getting this ward down.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea to go ahead and back out of there. So now Reality Check Gaming is aware that they've got at least vision over there. I'm sure they know exactly what's going on, and it looks like Tempest is going to go ahead and return to their own jungle, which is warded, and that pink ward going out to go ahead and deny just a little bit of that vision.
Yeah, that was nice that they placed a ward down at the entrance of that jungle. Just to make sure they placed the Explorer ward down just to check in case any sort of aggression came down. They would know if there was a ward in that area. And pink warding the opposing ward that's checking up on Udyr is very, very important, because Udyr relies a lot on the element of surprise in order to make his ganks work. Just because he doesn't have a big blink, he doesn't have a big CC apart from the bear stance. He mostly just relies on move speed, and move speed is only really effective if people don't already know you're coming and you have the opportunity to chase them down.
Or you get into a late game situation like we saw prior to this where Udyr had those boots of swiftness where he was able to, just kind of go in there, run up, pop his spells, and have no problem getting right into the middle of things.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch here. Nerf knows that there's no support in the area. Just going to dive back out into Atlanta. Atlanta could be in a bit of trouble here if this death sentence lands, and Division not even going to have to worry about it. But there's the root.
Yeah, the root going down right now. You can see it's the trade of auto attacks right now. No one's really getting any real threat of death right now. At this point, there's just not enough power out from either of these AD carries to do so.
So you see Baby Zeus and Fragnatic, once again, they're just trading as much damage as they can. So Baby Zeus started off just pushing the lane as quickly as possible, also helping to charge up the passive, just throwing Orb of Deceptions down over the whole wave. You have to cast basically 3 spells of anything other than Charm in order to get the passive primed up. So started that off very, very early, recognizing that his sustain from the passive is going to be a huge part of keeping him in the lane.
Yeah, no reason it shouldn't be at this point, but in the bot lane, we did have a snare go down, and it looks like Nerf is going to get caught out for just a little bit of damage. Those health potions being popped, but other than that, nothing really going on. A charm landing down in mid lane, but Zeus, you're absolutely right. He's in a situation right now where it's just bombs on bombs on bombs. At this point, Fragnatic isn't even bothering to use it to CS. If he gets some with it, that's great, but if not, there's no real big repercussion for it.
One other thing that's worth pointing out is the difference in poke that's going to be coming out from these two supports. Zyra burned the Ignite very, very early on, even though it wasn't really necessarily in a situation where they could pick up a kill. Just for the extra 5 ability power and the 5 attack damage, it's going to be helping her out with the poke so very, very much. A lot of Zyra's playstyle is kind of predicated on just continuously poking people down, throwing down the Q under people's feet with the plants. But here's a 2v2 engage in top.
Exactly. We've got Udyr coming in with that Phoenix stance right now. The flash coming out from Anxiety. He will be the first blood, and now Xhazard doing his best to get out of here, but he's quickly going to be cleaned up by Shepard, who's going to go ahead and pick up that kill.
All right, so very, very nice engagement coming out there, and that's going to be 2 quick kills going over in favor of Reality Check Gaming. That's going to be pretty terrifying. If Nocturne's able to get out ahead, he can either build a little bit of damage, or he can just build an insane amount of tankiness, but here's a trade in mid.
Oh, will this do it? Yes, it will. The last tick of Ignite and that bomb going off is going to be just enough to go ahead and take down Baby Zeus. That was so close towards the end of it. Oh, man. That was rough. Zilean damage. Early game Zilean damage. I really have no words for this right now.
And that's really where you have to make your mark on the lane in the early game, because once you start hitting the late game, a champion with only 1 damaging spell, it's very, very difficult to justify that. The hook lands in bottom.
Yeah, we're going to have the engagement going down now. Vayne getting snared, the jump coming out from Tristana. Meanwhile, the flash hook and the ignite down on Zyra will be enough to go ahead and finish her off. It looks like Atlanta, unfortunately, using jump very aggressively right now. That third proc of Silver Bolt's going down. Will they manage to pick up the kill? There we go. That is going to be it. But Nerf forced to pop barrier at the last second. Oh, man. Minion damage to OP plus that ignite. Or rather, that dot from Tristana.
Yeah, it was the explosive shot. It's just so scary there. TT Nerf didn't want to give any of that back away. They had the opportunity to pick up the kill and the assist and not give anything back, and that was just so beautifully played. Divasion was such a huge part of that. Getting the Ignite down, forcing Bubba Dub so far back, and Bubba Dub got so far back, I don't think his passive ended up hitting Vayne. But here's a gank in mid.
Yeah, we're going to have that Orbit Deception Charm combo go out, and that Foxfire plus the Udyr is going to be more than enough to go ahead and finish that off. So much CC lockup between those taunts going down.
And what a beautiful roam from Xhazard. Coming down into the race, Shepard going to get hit by a charm, but no follow-up damage apart from the Orbit Deception. But Xhazard comes down, hides out in the Wraith camp, flashes the wall, and lands the taunt before the charm ends. Doesn't give Fragnatic an opportunity to do anything. Wasn't even able to ult himself. Just such a beautiful layering of the CC.
Yeah, that's actually a really smart move at this point, simply because of the fact that, Zilean does have access to that ultimate. Keeping those taunts down while the consistent damage is going out means that he's not going to have the chance to reincarnate anybody. And that is going to be, it's just, that chrono shift is going to be so important come the late game, especially when Tristana is going to really reach her peak.
Yeah, and they also have to be careful about this. There are 2 hyper carries in this game. Like, we see, the composition from Reality Check Gaming is a lot about, getting someone to dive and take pressure off of Tristana, and then using the Zilean ultimate either on those people who are drawing pressure away or just reviving Tristana if she gets caught out. But there's a lot of good protection coming out here on the side of the blue team as well. Xhazard going to get things started on Tofu Shift in the top.
Yeah, anxiety coming up with that bear stance immediately forced to turn away though. Elise though, she's so slippery when she's in that spider form, and even outside of that, she's got the stun going on for her. Not too much of a chance to go ahead and pick her off right now.
Another charm down on the Fragnatic. Baby Zeus trading as much damage as possible. But, I mean, you got to give a little bit of credit here. Fragnatic controlling the lane, was able to get that solo 1v1 kill and force people, if they wanted to bring it back, they had to burn summoners, they had to spend a lot of time. He's got a little bit of a CS advantage as well. But, again, you got to worry about that late game scaling. Ahri is going to be able to assassinate a lot of people a lot of the time. And Zilean is just going to go bomb, reset, bomb. Okay, time to wait until I can do that again.
Exactly. I'm curious to actually see what Baby Zeus will be building at this point, solely because of the fact that we could see that DFG come out and really that burst potential that Ahri is going to have in these late game fights, especially against Tristana, is going to be really important. If they can go ahead and focus her down before that Chrono Shift comes out, they'll be in a really solid position.
Yeah, and it's so much of this is going to come down to the AD carries. Like, it's who is on top of their positioning, who is able to get more support from the team. There's the Zilean ultimate, but then there's also the Shen ultimate. There's Nocturne who can dive and draw attention away, but then there's Shen and Udyr who can dive and stand in the front of the fight and keep you from getting too Vayne whatsoever. Ahri can pick out any of the squishy targets, which there are many squishy targets on this side. That's the other thing, too, that's worth pointing out. There are a lot of people here that Ahri would love to catch with a charm. Like, you catch Zyra, great. Kill her and only give her passive damage. Fantastic. Tofu shift, going aggressive on the tower, we'll be able to take it down. X-Hazard can't keep him away.
That is just so unfortunate to see at this point in time, the first tower of the game going down in the favor of Reality Check Gaming right now. They're incredibly strong. Elise is great at pushing towers, especially with those spiderlings, but Shepard in the enemy jungle right now getting caught out by Ahri for just a tiny bit of damage.
Yeah, not going to end up too bad. There does have the ward down, so they're going to know where Anxiety is and where he's running through the jungle if he goes up for those raids. He does grab the red buff and is now coming down here, but we'll see if he's able to close the gap and actually pick anything out. Pink ward in the brush there by Bubba Dub. Going to make sure that they keep Atlanta as safe as possible and try to continue to extend that CS gap.
I'm really curious to see what's going to happen come late game, specifically between Vayne and Tristana. They both scale so incredibly well, and there's only a small CS discrepancy at this point. Both of them, will probably see them do fairly similar builds, but it looks like Anxiety's coming up here with the Lantern Toss, and that is a very squishy Zyra who is going to die immediately with the help of that box and the Vayne ultimate.
And that's one more thing that we didn't talk about that's going to make Udyr's life a lot easier in this game. We talked in the last game about how command dissonance is a huge part of getting him into the fight. Here they have the opportunity to use the Thresh Lantern, pull him in, use the hook to lock up an important target, and get Udyr standing right on top of them. That's what they did there. They were able to lock out the Zyra and just completely zone Tristana away, able to pick up that kill very, very quickly. Now we'll see how many objectives they can pick up for it.
We can see right now Anxiety just having that shield burst through by Tristana right now, but nothing else really coming from that. They're going to go ahead and get a hefty chunk of damage down onto that tower as the rest of Reality Check is finally there to respond. Just nothing going to come of that, though. They're just going to sit here, try and push out the wave, and essentially regain some form of map control that they've lost having that top tower taken.
So we're seeing a very different style of Udyr coming out here. He went with the Phoenix stance first. He's starting with Ninja Tabby instead of the Boots of Swiftness. He's not as worried about slows because there aren't as many slows. It is worth pointing out that while they don't have a lot of slows, the slow from Zilean is tremendous. As good as the heal is, or as good as the haste is on an ally target, the slow is just absolutely crippling on anybody else. But here's a 1v1 in the top lane.
Yeah, X-Hazard getting caught out there in a stun, but will Tofu be able to pick him up is the question. That shield being burst through very easily, and there's the flash over the wall, that explosive Spiderling coming out and will be enough to finish him off. And poor X-Hazard going down to Elise.
Yeah, Elise is hitting her power spike time, right? She just hit level 9, and she was able to catch Shen out with no tower there to run to, no support in the area, and it was just a really, really long run. He had the flash to counter the flash from Shen. Very, very nice play there by Tofu Shift.
In the mid lane, we got a bit of damage coming out on the part of Fragnatic on to Ahri right now. Those bombs are just so devastating. You combo them together, immediately tick one off, and have the other one ticking away. And Ahri doesn't have a shield. She's got no real defensive mechanism outside of her passive, allowing for that lifesteal. So she's in a situation where she doesn't really have the opportunity outside of those health potions and outside of that occasional lifesteal to really do anything about that mass amount of damage coming out.
Yeah, and that's why you're seeing the Crystalline Flask is a good option there from Ahri to help out in addition to the Spell Vamp from her passive and just going for the first item, Abyssal Scepter as well. It's like, okay, I can't stop you from dealing damage to me. I'm just going to mitigate it as best I can. I'm going to sustain through it as best I can, and I'm going to get myself an item that will help with my close range close range assassination potential. Ahri, once she hits level 11 and has the Abyssal Scepter, if she has it done by then, or if not then, maybe once she hits level 13 and has Foxfire maxed out, then that's when her burst potential just gets really, really high, especially with an Abyssal Scepter. That reduction to magic resist at close range is really, really potent on a champion that has that much mobility and that many spells that she can cast in such a short window of time.
Ooh, and it looks like the red team is going to go ahead and go for Dragon now. This is really going to give them the gold advantage that they've been looking for. They already have one sitting for them just because of the fact that they got that first blood, they got that early tower, but this is just going to even further it. Anxiety Law, unfortunately, going in for the steal. Luckily, though, that Thresh Lantern providing a bit of security there, not able to pick it up. That will go to Reality Check Gaming.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice play. Anxiety was able to get there. They already had the Dark Passage down. I think it was actually about the timeout. So it was a little bit risky there if they tried to wait any longer. But X-Shepherd was just right on par with his smite. Was able to get it down at just the right time, and there was no opportunity for Anxiety to even use his smite. By the time he got in, the Dragon was already down. So a brave play. It was definitely worth it. The Summoner spell for the potential to steal away. I mean, the first major objective that isn't that one tower that's gone down. It was a worthwhile play. I applaud your courage, sir.
It certainly was worthwhile and will work out in the favor of Reality Check Gaming. Tofu going back up to top lane to go ahead and do a little bit more pushing action. X-Shepherd will go ahead and take hold of his red. And you can see Elise is going for this early haunting, guys. But down in the bot lane, we got the Condemn going down. The Zyra ultimate going out. The knockup will go ahead and land. But it doesn't look like they're actually going to continue to pursue it. Meanwhile, up in the blue buff, we've got Anxiety Law being caught out here. Tofu will go ahead and get that kill. The shield coming in from Shen. It's not going to be enough as that bomb manages to take it, giving Zilean the double kill. The slow going down onto X-Hazard. He's going to get low here, and there we go. There's the bomb. Will it be enough to go ahead and finish him off? Tofu getting down very low, and we've got the Chrono Shift coming out from Zilean. So the triple kill and the save onto Elise, resulting in a 3-for-1 exchange.
This is the phase of the game where Zilean is going to be at his strongest, right? Once he hits level 9, he gets as much damage as he's going to get, apart from just AP scalings. And his ultimate, I mean, he was already level 11, so rank 2 in the ultimate as well. You gotta love that kind of play. Just so very strong. Another engagement down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, we've got the flash going down, and there we go. There's the ultimate coming out from both Thresh and Vayne. They will manage to easily pick up this kill onto Zyra right now, despite the Ignite being burst, as well as the ultimate from Tristana.
And that was just a really, really nice play. Division wasn't able to land the death sentence, but they got the flash out of Zyra, and as soon as he saw that there was no flash on Zyra, he recognized the opportunity for the flash box combination. On Thresh, that's really, really solid if you're up against a champion that doesn't have any mobility and their flash is already burned. Zyra, I mean, at that point, you have to walk through the box, and if you walk through the box against a team that has Vayne with Blade of the Ruin King and a 2v2, Tristana doesn't have enough damage to kill them right now. We're starting to hit Tristana's that lull in power, right? Tristana has kind of that very, very strong early to early mid game, and then she starts to kind of fall off a little bit as her spell damage isn't scaling up, and she doesn't really have the AD to really scale into that late game AD carry situation. X-Shepherd going to try to make something happen, though.
Yeah, looks like we've got the Fear going down onto Division right now. He's going to get down very low, managed to be taken out, but Vayne may actually pick up a kill here on it too. There we go. That's going to be a very dead Nocturne. Now, Tristana actually on the run. Atlanta doing his best to get out of here. There's the third proc of Silver Bolts, and Zilean is in here, coming in with the Chrono Shift, as it looks like Udyr is going to go ahead and pursue, but the nice flash over the wall will go ahead and keep him alive. Meanwhile, in the top lane, it looks like X-Hazard is going to go ahead and get the stun down. That combo may be enough to go ahead and take out Shen. Nerf forced out of this fight, and it looks like everyone's gonna get out alive except for X-Hazard. He's gonna get taken down here. Tofu coming in with that explosive spiderling.
That's just so strong. I mean, this Elise is going crazy on people. Tofu shift every time he finds Shen in the 1v1, he picks up a kill. Nerf just barely making out of that fight with no HP at all, playing it right down to the wire. You gotta love how these guys, no one's leaving anything, no one's taking anything for granted, no one's leaving anything left unplayed. But because there's so much action down in the bottom lane, it's offering Tofu Shift so much time to go for this 1v1 in the top lane. And because he's built a very heavy early game damage Elise, he didn't go for the first item Sunfire, he didn't go for even, I mean, he's going for a second item Ryze, it looks like. But because he's built so much raw damage and magic penetration this early on, he's dealing an immense amount of damage and just crushing down X-Hazard.
It's not something that's easy to deal with. He's having a lot of problems right now. You can see he's 1-4 at this point. He's lost his tower. There's pressure on the tier 2 tower right now. And he just doesn't have the really the best response to this. But down in the bot lane, it looks like we almost had a skirmish going down here. A nice disengage from Zyra will go ahead and keep the evasion at play. But more importantly, regarding this bot lane right now, Vayne is 4-0, and as Tristana hits this kind of lull in her mid-game power, she's 0-1 right now. They're nowhere near at the same caliber, but in the mid lane, oh my god, that instantaneous burst coming out from Elise and Nocturne just coming in there and managing to demolish not only Ahri, but that tower.
Yeah, it's just so much power. I mean, when Elise gets this far out ahead, it's just terrifying. Level 13 already just shows up, and Ahri just ceases to exist. Xhazard wants to show up. If he gets cocooned, he's gonna have to be pretty cautious about this one.
Oh yeah, that is going to be no fun to deal with at all. They're going to go ahead and take down that tier 2 tower and just manage to converge over towards the dragon. They're going to meet up here with Udyr and Thresh. The box going down. Pragmatic getting down very low. That chrono shift going out onto him. Anxiety Law having the Shen ultimate go down onto him too. But there's the reset for Tristana. So its second kill goes out here, and yet another jump as Nerf is going to get focused, and that is going to put Triss back into the game. And so that it will result in a 4-for-1 exchange in the favor of Reality Check Gaming.
We're seeing kind of a similar situation to a game that happened earlier where there was a lot of kills on Vayne and then only a couple of kills on everybody else. But in the other game, those couple of kills on everybody else were on damage dealers. And on this game, it's a kill, 2 kills on Shen, right? It's 1 kill on Udyr. Those guys, they're not going to be able to draw enough focus. And because of that, Reality Check, they recognize they have an opportunity to get a lot of damage down on this tower.
Baby Zeus right now has actually got some decent wave clear going on, as well as some nice burst potential, especially onto Zilean. You know, we talked a bit earlier on about just how frail he was, needing that chrono shift to really keep himself in the middle of a team fight. If he wasn't able to use it on anybody else, you know, there wasn't an opportune time. And that's exactly what we're seeing. He just got burst down so easily just by the Orb of Deception coming out from Ahri, not even a full combination.
Yeah, it's just so much power. I mean, right now it's all about Vayne. She's the one person on the side of Tempest that's going to be dealing enough damage that they really have to bring a lot of focus, and they have to find a way to protect her. Xhazard used his ultimate that time to try to keep Anxiety alive after he got forced back out of the fight, just because they didn't want to give away any kills that they didn't have to. But because of the continued engagement and the lack of shielding for Vayne, they weren't able to stick around and keep their DPS up. And I mean, we're seeing more and more of the map is falling under control of Reality Check. They came out ahead of that fight 4-for-1. Now they've taken down the Dragon. Now they've got an Oracle on Zyra, so they're going to be able to take complete map control. Atlanta ended up with double buffs and a couple of kills as well. This is very, very scary.
Oh, and Tofu managing to catch out Evasion here. Lots of damage going down. Nocturne coming in with the ultimate, and there's the fear just about procced off. The flash will go down. Anxiety just in so much pain right now. He's going to go into turtle stance, but it's not going to be enough. He will get taken down. Zilean getting taken out as well, and the hop in, hop out from Tristana will go ahead and keep her alive, pick up the kill. Unfortunately, it will result in the death of Nocturne in that 2-for-2 exchange.
They go 2-for-2. Fragnatic went down without using his ultimate. I can only assume that he got CC'd. It was off screen, but here's a beautiful taunt from Xhazard.
Yeah, a nice Zyra ultimate coming out. Elise will go ahead and fall here, but now Tristana coming in, doing her best to pelt out that damage. Unfortunately, Vayne just a little too strong as that double kill will go down, but Tristana managing to pick up that kill. A nice dot coming out from her from that explosive shot will go ahead and secure that.
Yeah, but it's going to end up being the ace. Only one person is down right now on the side of Tempest. So after losing a big team fight, losing the Dragon, losing map control, they're able to turn it right back around and kill everybody on the map. Tempest, they're not going anywhere. They're going to stick this game out. They're going to fight it out as hard as they can. And, you know, a couple of extra kills on Vayne certainly not going to help. You know, we're seeing the 20-minute Blade of the Ruin King plus Phantom Dancer is done. It's realistically right now, it's can the supporting roles on the side of Reality Check Gaming out-carry the Vayne. Now, Tristana just picked up 5 kills in as many minutes. Like, that's a huge power spike for Tristana. That's going to get her towards that scary, scary late game very, very quickly. But the thing that makes her late game so good is the fact that she has such tremendous range and really, really good attack speed. Udyr and Shen are pretty good at cutting down on that range just because of their ability to die very, very quickly. Shen can go with the flash taunt, and if he gets that taunt down, Tristana doesn't have cleanse. She's going to have to use a QSS, and if it's either not off cooldown or she hasn't had a chance to build it up yet, if Shen's able to dive her hard enough for Udyr to catch up, and then Ahri just lands like one spell, that's a Tristana that's not going to be able to be a part of the fight. Like, she's going to have to back up and keep herself safe. And while that's going on, Vayne is going to be shredding this very, very thin front line that's mostly comprised of an Elise that's going a little bit more of the early damage. I'm assuming we're going to be seeing some good tankiness coming out afterwards, and the Nocturne.
And right now we're seeing an engagement going down in the mid lane. Ahri doing her best to get as much damage down onto Shepherd as possible. He's going to get down very low, and now Vayne coming in. Oh, so much damage down onto Zilean, nearly taken out by only those 3 shots of silver bolts out. It's so rough to deal with right now, looking at these late game hyper carries. Vayne and Tristana coming out doing so much incredible damage. The build they're both going for, Phantom Dancer, Blade of the Ruined King, you know, they've got a couple different variations, but all in all going for that attack speed on top of that percentage-based physical damage. It's just, there's not a good response from it really on either team, simply because, as you were saying, for Reality Check Gaming, their front line is so frail. Everybody's going to get burst down very easily. Zilean, Zyra, even Nocturne right now, he's got some investment into defenses, but only having that Aegis and boots is not going to be nearly enough to keep him alive. He's going to be looking forward to that health investment soon, and Elise, as you said, not building really to be the tankiest, not getting that Sunfire cape. It looks like in the top lane, yeah, X-Hazard getting caught out here. We're going to have Tofu coming in with all that damage. Zyra coming up, and will he go down? There we go. Tofu managing to pick that up. Ahri being forced out, but Anxiety Law coming in here, and there we go. There is the jump coming out from Atlanta. The lantern going down, but it's not quite going to be enough. The box coming out, but the instantaneous kill landing onto Divasion, as Tristana is more than back in this game.
And Reality Check, they just found so many people out of position. They just found so many free kills and just got so many picks. There was no response whatsoever for Tempest. That's 4 easy kills for Reality Check Gaming. That's going to be the middle inhibitor is a thing of the past.
Oh, man, it's just... This game is not going well at all for Tempest right now. They really have got to get a handle back on these team fights. They were executing them so well earlier. They had the peel for Vayne. They had the damage there with Ahri coming out. You can see she's got that needlessly large rod now, and they're actually going for the engagement. The taunt going down on to Zilean, that chrono shift coming out, but it looks like Ahri may get taken down here. The Shen ultimate coming out. She's going to manage to land a kill onto Elise as Udyr's going in here with bomb on his head and now looking to go ahead and get some kind of crowd control down onto Tristana. It's unfortunately not going to happen. Anxiety having to deal with these plants instead, and we're going to see the disengagement from Reality Check.
So Reality Check, they're going to get, I mean, they're going to be fine. Trading Elise for an inhibitor, like, that's fine. Sure, Elise is absolutely massive right now. We're going to see Tempest, they're going to try to make them pay for this, though. They're going for the comeback Baron. If they can get this down, I mean, this will be a huge part of keeping them in this game. But losing 2 inhibitors this early on, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. We'll see if Reality Check can get back in time to stop it.
And that is going to be the question right now. Everybody was fairly low getting into this, and Nerf is going to go ahead and have the lifesteal to get back up, but it looks like Reality Check Gaming is going to be here to respond. You got the bombs going down onto Shepherd's head right now. Udyr managing to pick up Baron, so Anxiety Law securing that nicely. Shepherd has got the chrono shift on him. They've stopped focusing him because of the Zilean actually going down thanks to Vayne. And that is going to be all she wrote. Shepherd coming back up, but that burst going down onto him is going to be more than enough. Double kill going to Vayne, and Zyra forced to get out of there after trying to save Nocturne.
You know, everybody on that team has got to be, like, trolling the heck out of Baby Zeus in the chat, right? Because they looked at Nocturne, and Nocturne was, like, had no health whatsoever. The chrono ship was about to expire, right? Everybody stopped hitting it. They're like, okay, it's fine. Just let it go. We'll end up having to kill a lot less HP if we just let it go. He has no escapes. He can flash or whatever. We'll chase him down. And then, like, right at the last second, Baby Zeus gets into range and tags him with the Orbit Deception and kills him. He's just like, oh, just wait. I got him. Yay, guys, I got him. Don't worry about it. I got him. Everyone's just like, dude, I hate you. But either way, they were able to take down the Baron, and it was just at the right time where we saw Reality Check try to make a big play. They tried to come in and deny the Baron, which, I mean, that would have been a really terrible block for Tempest. I mean, that would have basically just, like, kind of shattered whatever momentum they were trying to get going. But as it was, it ended up creating more momentum for them, as they not only did they pick up the Baron, but they got 2 free kills in addition to it.
Dragon going to Reality Check Gaming right now, though. They've still got a huge gold lead right now, and that's something to bear in mind. Despite the fact that Vayne is getting some of these kills, she's got the majority of her kills. Nobody else on her team has anywhere close to the damage potential or really the same kind of level of fed that she is at the moment. So it's going to be really rough for them. They still need to try and essentially make plays on catching people out as they have been. They need to go ahead and keep this up so that they can come back into the game, so that they can go ahead and get that one up onto Reality Check Gaming. Unfortunately, getting that Baron is just not going to be enough at this point. With that inhibitor down, they're going to be on the defensive despite the fact that they've got that buff.
Exactly. If there's anything the LCS has taught us, it's that at very high level play, trading even one inhibitor for a Baron more often goes in favor of the team with the inhibitor. Death Sentence not going to land, and that's going to provide even more opportunity here. Reality Check, they're going to be content to just sit outside this tower, not let anybody engage on them, and just wait until the super creeps push into the base.
One of the biggest things to keep in mind right now is that Tempest, they want to go ahead and fight on these towers. That's their best bet for winning this, despite the fact that they've got Baron right now. Fighting on these towers is going to give them the advantage of the extra damage that they need to go ahead and come back into this. Shen is going to try and do his best to defend the base right now, which he should be able to do. Udyr breaking off to go ahead and help with that. But it looks like we are just going to have Reality Check Gaming taking advantage of this and taking down that tier 2 tower in bot lane.
Yeah, they just had no way to take it down. I mean, Shen with just the Sunfire Cape can't handle 2 waves of super creeps. 1 wave of super creeps, sure. He can just focus on the super creep, and the Sunfire will take care of the regular creeps by the time he takes on the super minion. But with 2 lanes of them pushing in, it's just not enough. And this is why you're seeing Reality Check Gaming, they're continuing to apply pressure despite being up against a Baroned up team. They're still up 8,000 gold. They still have all the map control in the world. And as long as they don't let Ahri ult out and pick somebody up, or hit it with a charm and get a fight started that's not advantageous for them, they know that they don't have anything to worry about.
Right now we're seeing Ahri going for that Death Cap build. She's got that Abyssal Scepter on her as well. So there is a lot of burst coming out from her. And Vayne as well, who's built into a Last Whisper, essentially saying, hey, you know what? They've got a squishy team. At some point or another, they're going to try and build armor to go ahead and counter me. How about you just stay squishy forever? And that's exactly what Vayne is going for right now. And it's going to work out really well for her. She's going to be able to take out pretty much anybody that she wants to on the team. And it looks like Zilean coming up to try and get a little bit of damage down. Those bombs devastating, even to Anxiety. He's going to go in here and go for the engagement. Shen ulting down, and we've got some of the backline dive to try and get a hold of Vayne. It's not going to work, though. It looks like they're going to go 1-for-1 right now. Tristana coming in, trying to do something with that reset as Ahri picks off Nocturne, and now all that damage going down onto Division, who manages to land that death sentence, and Ahri will go ahead and pick up Elise.
Yeah, Fragnatic keeps dying inside of Shen taunts, and so he's not able to get his ultimate down on a high priority target. Realistically, all Reality Check Gaming needed to do was drag that fight out. If they're able to keep that fight going on long enough, super creeps are going to push in. They're going to take down the middle inhibitor again. They're going to take down the top inhibitor again. Start pushing in under the towers. All they had to do was just disengage and pull back and keep themselves alive. They used the Zyra ultimate beautifully. Bubba Dub tried to create as much space as he could, but it just wasn't enough. Atlanta didn't die, but Fragnatic wasn't able to get the ultimate out in time. They weren't able to use the Nocturne ultimate to confuse the enemy fight, to keep their coordination from being just spot on. And because of that, we see Tempest due to some really, really crisp, clean execution, with Shen ulting in right as Udyr goes for the flash stun. They were able to pick up a really fast team fight win, pick up some kills, and alleviate the pressure. That's going to give them time to get their inhibitors back up. They're able to defend their base, and the last super creeps that are spawning right now are coming down the lane as I speak. They're going to be able to kill that out. They're going to be able to regain a little bit of map control, and they'll actually be able to contest the next Baron when it comes up.
In spite of that, they're still in a precarious situation because with both inhibitors exposed right now and a third one nearly exposed, as that tower is getting down lower and lower, anybody, especially Tristana, could come in and backdoor that tower at nearly any given point if they extend out too far.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be ever conscious of that. There's so many ways you can lose a game of League of Legends. And right now, when you're this far behind in map control, in map pressure, you have to worry about every single one of them. You always have to be on guard for any sort of backdoor action, for any sort of group up and push action, and for any sort of split push action.
Exactly what we're seeing now. It looks like Tofu's actually going to be caught out here, getting down very low. That chrono shift going down, and we can see Shen coming in here, doing his best to try and disrupt Nocturne, who is actually going to go ahead and get taken down here. Ahri picking up yet another kill on that. The Zilean bombs going down onto Ahri. She's going to get quite low, and it looks like the flash coming out from Zilean will have to happen. X-Hazard trying to come in here with the shield, but he is going to get right back into base with that one.
He's able to just barely get out. Atlanta is really, really strong right now. They go 1 for 2. They do take down the middle inhibitor, but they can't take down any of the rest of the base, and Anxiety is going to go ahead and chase them back out.
Unfortunately, though, we've got the slows coming out from Zyra, so that's just not going to be possible. It looks like this may have actually been a really bad decision on his part. Tofu actually deciding to disengage, as it looks like Baby Zeus is up there to go ahead and help.
I really love the play there as well. Tofu Shift just running up to the front, said, you know what, I've got Zilean Ultimate, I don't have to worry about anything. Just dove through everybody, used the repel to reposition himself right as he was running out of HP back in the middle of the fight, so that as soon as he came back up, he was going to have all of his cooldowns back up. He could go to human form, throw down a stun, throw down some good damage, and just get as much work done as possible. This Elise is one of the most fed people in the game right now at 7-4 and 12. Not all that much as far as the CS goes, only 139 CS. That's because he's been roaming around trying to build as many advantages for his team as possible. And right now, we're going to see Tempest. They want to take advantage of this opportunity with only one inhibitor down to contest the Baron as soon as it comes back up.
Well, right now they're in a really strong position. Those minions are going to go ahead and barrel down that mid lane, even if they do end up fighting over Baron, which is a huge possibility at the moment. You can even see Vayne and Ahri going back to go ahead and keep this minion wave cleared. They want to go ahead and make sure that everything is secure so that they can go ahead and contest Baron safely.
Yeah, they really, really need to be careful with their positioning here. And Reality Check Gaming, once again, they've got the clock on their side. They can either just wait it out and let the creeps push in, or by doing so, they can force Shen to go back out and split push. Shen doesn't have his ultimate back up just yet. So there's a few seconds of time where Shen can't afford to be away from the team. And realistically, he may not be able to go out and split push. Just because you have a global ultimate doesn't mean you should utilize your global ultimate, especially against a team that has, I mean, if Elise gets the cocoon down, they might be able to burst somebody down before Shen can even get in. And if he ults that target and they burst them through the Shen shield and they die before he comes through, they've just created a 4v5 fight.
And that is an unfortunate situation if they end up looking at it. So far, that hasn't happened yet, which is, very lucky on the part of Tempest that there hasn't been that kind of focus that has led to those sorts of kills. Right now, we've got Baron being aggroed as that support ward war is going on. Oracles for Thresh right now really paying off. There's lots of wards out in the jungle. Division really, really coming out on the top end of this.
All right, so they're trying to clear out the wards. They're just trying to build as much lane pressure as possible. They've got Atlanta up in the top lane. He just hit level 18, so draw beat is maxed out. He's got the highest range that he's going to be able to get, which is just absolutely colossal right now. Going to go ahead and peel back to base, pick up some extra items. If he finishes that Infinity Edge, that's going to be pretty terrifying. Let's see. Yep, there it is. All right, so he's hit the 4-item Tristana at level 18. Atlanta is really, really strong right now. Expect Reality Check Gaming to go on the offensive.
Right now, Vayne picking up red buff. Sorry about that. I had to tab out momentarily. Vayne picking up red buff as they're going to go ahead and Reality Check Gaming is going to look to go ahead and group up around this mid lane, around Baron again. All of these lanes are going to start applying so much more pressure simply because of the fact that they do have that existing inhibitor. So everybody's going to go ahead and get a buff from that. But Division instantly being burst down after being caught out in that stun, and now X-Hazard actually on the run as Chrono Shift has been used onto Zilean because of the fact that he's had to use it on himself. Elise will go down here. Nocturne trying a 1v1 with Vayne will get out of it alive with the help of Tristana. That jump over the wall will go ahead and pick up the kill on Ahri as well. The shutdown gold gonna go ahead and go to Zyra.
That was good decision-making from X-Hazard, but the execution just wasn't quite there. He recognized that if I put enough pressure on Zilean early enough, I'll make him burn the ultimate on himself, and he can't use it on a higher priority target. But he missed the taunt, and he wasn't able to get the damage down during that time where Tristana and Zilean couldn't really hurt him back. And just because of that, Reality Check Gaming, they win a huge team fight, and they take down the Nexus.
That will be GG, ladies and gentlemen. This game, the fourth of the 5 matches going on tonight, will go ahead and go to Reality Check Gaming. Man, that is so awesome talking at a computer screen, Malphus. It's just so easy to do. And now we're going to go ahead and get into the loading screen, work on getting you lovely people into the next lobby. But overall, a crazy back and forth game. One of the closest games I think I've really seen in MCS so far, simply because of the fact that those team fights, one would win, the other would win. Tempest would go ahead and get an advantage. Reality Check would go ahead and take an inhibitor. Baron would be taken. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was just, oh man, great positioning. It all came down to the AD carries. And you saw Atlanta, he just put on the carry boots. Like, once he hit that 4-item phase, they were just like, okay, we're ready to fight now. And we saw Tempest thought that they saw an opportunity to get the catch. They thought they saw an opportunity to get the pick. But there was just so much work being done on the front line by Elise. Shen wasn't able to land the taunt. Atlanta and Fragnatic were able to force him back out of the fight and take him down. Shen did get his ultimate off, so he did just about everything he could have in that fight, despite that one technical flaw kind of marring the performance there. But you just got to tip your hat to Reality Check Gaming, and especially to Atlanta. Very, very brave with the rocket jumps, going in when he needed to go in to deal damage, and just getting the work done.